Hello, everybody. This is the Chapter 4 Turkey lecture on In the Sea There Are Crocodiles. I will say for this lecture, you probably want to actually read the chapter first because there will be a few spoilers. I'm not going to be telling you everything you need to know, for example, for the test, but there will be some spoilers. So I recommend reading it first and then watching this, but it's up to you. Also, you have available to you and will be doing as you read the comprehension questions. So the reading and the comprehension questions will be one assignment or maybe two, and then the test will be another assignment. So please make sure that you are doing both of those and you'll be graded on both. So Enniot is now about 14 and a half years old. So about 4.5 years have passed since he's gone through his journey through Iran. And if you recall, he's leaving because he really cannot stand the idea of constantly being repatriated, paying money. It's dangerous and he's getting sick of it. And if there's one thing we know about him, he is really not the kind of person who's going to stop trying to do better in life, which is awesome. So unlike Iran, where he lived for a long time, the Turkey chapter really he goes through Turkey very quickly, and he has some very intense experiences there, including ones that nearly kill him. And the main one is when he starts off at Lake Urmia in Iranian Azerbaijan. So if you look on this map, he's starting up here near Azerbaijan. Iran is here in this area. Oh, that's actually right here. So he's starting his journey in these mountains, and he is going to be crossing over them right here down into this lake. And this is a really intense journey. So it's very stark and sparse, as you can see there, but also very beautiful. And I just wanted to give you these pictures to have a mental image in your mind of what that really would look like. Also, in my research, I was really excited. I learned, wacky fact, that Lake Urmia, I don't know how to say that, is drying up. And since it's disappearing because it's being overused and it's people are using all of its water, bacteria and algae are actually turning its water red, like blood red. So these two images are the same lake over time, and you can actually see how it's getting smaller. And this is all like salt around it. So it's actually shrinking. And that's, one of those global warming kind of issues. Be interesting. These are some pictures. So if you want to think about the symbolism of starting off your journey in a lake that is looks like blood, and this is like that salt I was saying. It's just kind of fascinating. This guy is floating in it. If you know anything about salty water, you can float in it. So this is a map. He is going from Iran on this side over the mountains to Turkey, and he has a very insane journey. This is another map. I don't know why I have two of them in here. But he does end at Lake Van, and if you look at it, it is incredibly beautiful. Of course, this is probably a professional photograph. In case you're not quite sure how long the journey takes, it's almost 100, well, just on Google, from going from one to the other, it's about 150 miles. So think about walking from Rutland to Burlington and back, and then back up there, except you don't have much food, you don't have the right clothes, and it is the dead of winter, and people around you are dying. So that's kind of the deal. He walked for a month, just over 5 miles a day. That's kind of an estimate, in really horrifying conditions. I'm not going to say too much more about that because the chapter has some really grody, jody parts in it. You should go check that out. Pay attention to shoes. He has some shoes. This is the little spoiler, right? He actually has to remove the shoes off of a person who dies on the trail. And I want you to also think about the flow of human beings. So if in one instance we're seeing human trafficking as paying a guy to put you in a truck across a border, now we're paying people to put you in a caravan that joins up with other caravans. And much like a river, there's all these tributaries and then they flow together so that I think eventually there's something like 70 or 80 people who are traveling together, and my numbers could be kind of off, I forget. But they all flow together and they don't necessarily get along. So if you have all these different racial and ethnic groups, people from different identities and tribes who don't really like each other, and they're all trying to do this really difficult thing, you can imagine how horrible and intense that would be. And he is your age. So I want you to put your empathy shoes on there and think about that. We're also going to be seeing a lot of imagery, and in the Greece chapter, we are going to be drawing some pictures, which you will use either taking a photo of or and attaching it to Classroom or using Google Draw. But remember that imagery is when the writer uses the five senses, seeing, hearing, taste, touch, smell, to create a picture in your brain of what's happening in the story. And that's really important because the story's in black and white. You can't smell what's going on. And thankfully, you probably wouldn't want to if you had 70 dudes walking across a mountain, people who are dying. You probably don't want to smell that. But you get some words in the story that are kind of helping you understand that. And that's really important. So that's imagery. And that's something that we're going to start paying a lot of attention to. And don't be afraid to get onto Google Classroom. There are our reading terms are on there. You're welcome to, and I have a link to this on the actual slideshow, but you're welcome to go into our reading terms if you're forgetting some of the static and dynamic character and characterization and they're starting to build up. Go back in and review. I have them on Quizlet too. So don't be afraid of doing that. I think that's the end of our slideshow. So if you have questions about the Turkey chapter, you're not really sure about the comprehension questions as you go, please let me know and attend my flex block from 1:15-ish to 2 during this distance learning time. And I would be happy to answer questions and stuff like that. Please make sure that you are turning in the assignments the correct days that they are due so that you are marked present for my class. Thanks, you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.